tax returns is quite enough, he says. Joining me now is Kirsten Kukowski, the National Press Secretary for the Republican National Committee. Welcome, Kirsten.
Hi, thank you.
So we have to start with the tax returns, and I know you're probably tired of that line of questioning, but more and more Republicans are coming out and saying, hey, we need to make this issue go away, so release the tax returns, for goodness sakes.
Well, as you covered in your introduction there, Governor Romney has released 500 pages of tax returns, 2 years, very, very detailed personal financial statement. So I think that he's been very, very transparent about his finances. He's done the exact same thing that Senator McCain did back in 2008. So I think every day that we spend talking about this, the president's team in Chicago is very happy because they're not talking about the fact that their Jobs Council, which we learned today, has not met in over 6 months. So I think it's time that we start talking about what each of these candidates brings to the table as far as how we're going to create jobs and turn the economy around, which is ultimately what we really need to do.
What many Republicans are concerned about, there are a lot of people writing articles wondering why Mitt Romney won't release more of his tax returns. There's speculation everywhere, and I'm not saying Mitt Romney did anything wrong, but there's speculation out there as to why he's refusing to release more of his tax returns.
Well, like I said, the governor has spoken about this. He has given many 500 pages of tax returns, 2 years. He's been very transparent about this. So I think it's time that we all move on, start talking about jobs in the economy, which is something obviously the president's team doesn't want to talk about because they keep feeding the beast here on this discussion.
Well, you mentioned, on the tax issue, Romney says he's provided as much information as John McCain and John Kerry. He also took a shot at John Kerry's wife, who Romney says never released her tax returns, but none of that is exactly true. I mean, Kerry released more returns, and both he and McCain have been filling out forms for years as U.S. senators, and plus, both of them lost the election. And let's face it, Mrs. Kerry wasn't running for president. So the argument doesn't hold, even with many Republicans.
Well, like I said, he's filled out a very, very detailed personal finance disclosure. And you know what, Carol, we all want to talk about transparency. We want to talk about transparency, too. Just today, actually, we are talking about where did the stimulus money go that this president promised was going to create jobs. We have a couple examples of where it's going. I heard you play the Team Romney's ad that they're up with today. Stimulus money going overseas for outsourcing jobs. We're focused on some donors who have received millions and millions of taxpayer dollars through the stimulus. So I think that two can play the game on transparency, and if the president really wants to have a discussion about it, we're here and waiting.
Yeah, but you claim the president isn't being transparent, but many people say Mitt Romney isn't being transparent either. So who's setting the example here?
Well, the president did claim to be the most transparent administration ever. So I think as the president of the United States, who's been in office for 3.5 years, he definitely has some questions to answer. And he ultimately is the one asking to be rehired. So it is our responsibility to ask questions about why he thinks he deserves to be rehired when he isn't being transparent and we're not seeing the results that he promised.
But doesn't a candidate for president, mustn't a candidate for president hold to the same standard?
Well, of course, he's going to make his case for why he believes that he can do things better than President Obama, and he's going to have the next 3.5 months to do that. We are going to know plenty about Governor Romney and how he believes that he is going to run this country. But it is our job to hold the President Obama, to his promises that he has made. And on transparency, it is very clear that he just simply has not lived up to those promises.
Kirsten Kukowski, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.